You've been trained to shrink by people who called it virtue. Keep your head down, smile when it's safe, make yourself small enough to survive. Parents called it protection, teachers called it discipline, bosses called it professionalism. What they were really teaching was this: how to become ignorable. And the world, it loves people like that, because the world doesn't hand respect to the silent. It piles weight on their shoulders until they break, then calls it character. If you want real respect, you don't get there by being nice. You get there by becoming unfearable, not fearless, because fear in small doses is useful. It sharpens, it fuels. But unfearable, that's a different creature. That's a mind predator's rethink before attacking. That's the man whose silence grows louder than most people's screams. That's the woman whose calm under fire feels like a weapon. You start becoming unfearable the second you wake up. Before your feet hit the floor, ask, whose approval am I hungry for today? Who are you bending for, shrinking for, performing for? That name? Delete it. Respect begins the moment you stop chasing it. Machiavelli wouldn't beg for applause. He'd sever his sense of worth from every name in the room, including his own. Because worth isn't a mirror, it's a moving target you sharpen hour by hour. When worth becomes kinetic, criticism turns into calibration, praise turns into white noise, and your compass, it points inward. Suddenly their storms can't drown you. You're generating your own tide. Walk into the hallway, the elevator, the feed, and realize most people are ruled by craving. They crave nods, likes, invitations. They trade pieces of their dignity for scraps of attention. You trade nothing. Instead, you embrace controlled scarcity. Speak less than you think. Appear less than you're noticed. Do more than you promise and promise less. A man who withholds intent becomes a myth. People will imagine you larger than life because imagination fills gaps with monsters or gods. Every reduction of your presence multiplies curiosity. And curiosity is respect's restless twin. They'll poke your silence like kids poke coals, hoping to see flame. Give them nothing. Let the silence burn in them, not you. Next, you master strategic indifference. This isn't apathy, it's precision. You treat emotional response like financial investment. You ask, does this reaction earn me anything? Does anger buy leverage? Does agreement add value? If not, don't spend the emotion. Let them chase their own drama while you calculate. And when you do speak, make it hurt. Your words should land like steel. You gain weight not by volume, but by deletion. Strip fluff, kill prefaces, replace "I just think" with a pause. Replace "maybe" with silence. Every sentence should feel like it costs something to say. People will feel it. They'll shift in their seats, they'll lean in, because gravity bends even conversations. Expect resistance. Weak minds resent presence they can't dominate. They'll whisper, arrogant, cold, antisocial. Let them. Those words are darts that bounce off plate armor if you don't react. Refuse to defend yourself and they'll realize they were talking to a wall that takes notes. Now bend the gossip, feed your critic's paradox, help the son of a rival land a job, compliment the competence of someone who just slandered you. They'll go silent, not out of gratitude but confusion. And confusion stalls conspiracy. Conspiracies that stall? Rot. Machiavelli would call it the grin beneath the claw, the fox beside the lion. And when your presence becomes furniture, vanish. Every space adjusts to you. The room gets comfortable. Then it gets entitled. Don't wait to be taken for granted. Disappear just before they expect your nod. Ignore the email asking for free genius. Skip the meeting you used to lead. Then come back. Not loud, not bragging, just elevated. A new skill, a win, an alliance. Let your silence return with interest. Let them link your absence to secret progress. Now, every time you go quiet, they'll brace for fireworks. The weak fear confrontation. The powerful use surgical ferocity. When you strike, strike fast, private if possible, public if useful. Target behavior, not character. No lectures, just results. The report was late. The client noticed. Next time, I reassign. No voice raised, no rage, just a contract enforced. Then, reset, cold, professional. Let them know conflict with you is not personal, it's expensive. Handle money with intent. Never gossip about it. Generosity should be calm, payments full, silence always. Wealth discussed is power weakened. Wealth implied is power inflated. And knowledge, your next weapon, must be asymmetrical. Know more than you reveal. Study 2 layers deeper than they think you have time for. Let wrong ideas fester while you take notes. Correct once, with proof, with timestamps. Make it clean, surgical. They'll remember the day your quiet folder became a guillotine. Now fear isn't your enemy. It's just been pointed the wrong way. You've been fearing others. Start fearing your own potential left unused. Start fearing comfort, fear regret, and let that fear turn you into a machine that moves without permission. Stop chasing allies. Start cultivating mirrors. You don't need yes men. You need cold intellect sharpened in different corners. Build a council, 3 people, smarter than you in places you ignore, blunt enough to offend you. They'll see the vanity in your next move before the crowd does, and you'll pay them not with praise, but with utility. Why? Because public collapse happens in silence you ignored. This is preventative damage control. Surgical self-critique in private makes you bulletproof in public. You want to be respected? Embed it in optics. Humans believe what their eyes repeat. The symbol becomes the signal. Choose a phrase, a color, a posture, and own it. Use it in meetings, in emails, quiet, repetitive. Eventually, the signature becomes identity. And when rivals imitate it, people smell the copy. Because imitation is an unspoken confession. I know who set the standard. But remember, predictability is a sniper's dream. That's why you occasionally break your rhythm. Arrive early once, tell a self-deprecating story at a table expecting frost, team up with someone unexpected. This doesn't dilute your persona, it electrifies it, because people recalibrate for those they fear. Uncertainty earns more attention than charisma ever could. Guard your digital presence like royalty guards a bloodline. Post only what you've chosen, not what you felt. Frame narratives, never rants, then vanish. The best content creators know when to drop the mic and leave the stage empty. Now master your own physiology. This isn't about body language. This is about body command. Walk 1 beat slower than expected. Blink less. Breathe as if the air was already yours before you arrived. This doesn't impress, it programs. People adjust their own pulse to match yours. They'll never tell you this. They'll just perform better around you and not know why. Your movement should whisper, I don't rush, I decide. Use stories, but not just anecdotes. Steal the mythic scale. When you reorganize your team, don't say efficiency update. Say tightening the phalanx before winter. Shift their frame. Elevate your language until it smells like legend. Because people don't follow managers. They follow mythology. Prepare your revenge before betrayal even happens. Write the contingency email. Draft the PR fallout plan. Know your pivot supplier, then sit on it. The calm that comes from knowing your next 5 moves? That calm is terrifying to those who wish you harm, because panic is visible, but preparation, it's a fog that smells like fire. Give favors strategically, big enough to matter, small enough to repay. Too generous and you breed resentment. Too stingy and you starve loyalty. Find the razor's edge where reciprocity is possible, but requires continued proximity to you. That's psychological gravity. They orbit what they owe. End things at your peak. Meetings, messages, partnerships. Leave while the energy is high. Cut the call while your words still echo. Why? Because mystique doesn't come from mystery. It comes from momentum untapped. Let them crave your next move. And yes, you will lose battles. Let some slip. Allow a rival to score a point in public if it means they overreach in private. Let them think they've won. That's how you feed their overconfidence until they're easy to outmaneuver. A loss today buys a collapse tomorrow, and it's always cheaper in reverse. Embed dominance into ritual. Be the first to summarize the meeting, the last to propose. Choose the seat that makes others turn toward you. The subconscious is always watching, and ritual is its language. Charm the overlooked. Security guards, assistants, gatekeepers, they control access. And their stories about you, they plant reputational seeds you never have to water. The executive will calibrate based on the receptionist's smile. Now here's a move almost no one teaches. Use your opponent's doctrine against them. Quote their favorite author when dismantling their logic. Use their values as blades. If you make them contradict their own heroes, you don't win the argument. You erase their compass. Think in decades, act in days. Have a 10-year plan, but execute like the deadline is Friday. Respect grows from seeing that you're both a strategist and a builder. Vision plus detail equals the formula for impossible loyalty. And now legacy. Don't build memories, build systems. Let your decisions become policies. Your standards become SOPs. Create rituals that others inherit. When you disappear, your fingerprint stays on the gears. That's not influence. That's immortality with structure. Respect built on fear crumbles when you're gone. Respect engineered into architecture, it haunts. If this all sounds ruthless, that's because the world already is. You're not adding malice. You're just installing intent. You're not destroying, you're designing. And if you've made it this far, there's only one thing left. Choose one sentence. Write it down. Something sharp, something cold, something that makes you move differently tomorrow. I fear no one. If that line stings, it's probably the one you need. If it feels like home, it's already yours. Now close the screen, not because this is over, but because the next move is yours. Let silence announce you, let your absence raise questions, and your return answer none. Respect isn't earned, it's constructed, brick by sentence, rule by breath, until even fear looks at you and waits for instructions.